that there will be a question. So when it comes to monitoring and controlling of tax audit, the first area is the tax audit function, right? How you organize and control the tax audit function. So things like control quality issues, they are very important, and you have to know them and know them very well. Okay. So first, you must document quality issues, right? So it typically outlines the monetary activities to be taken before, during, and after completion of an audit. So monitoring your assignment priorities, renewing preliminary audit work plans, reviewing your workload, visiting the field, adherence to your audit work plans, reviewing periodic reports, team discussions, resolving issues, and your audit debriefings, right? But the whole thing is that quality is so broad that anything you say can be correct, because you must review quality. Remember when we started, we looked at some things that you must look out for audit quality, right? Whether they have properly applied the audit legislation, whether they manage proper application of the policies, whether they use the right techniques, whether there's mathematical accuracy, they documented their audit work, they were able to explain some of the adjustments, and their adjustments were clear. So these are, when you are doing a review as an audit manager for quality, you must check some of these things. Is that okay? Is that clear? Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So when you are monitoring an auditor's work, or you are reviewing an auditor's work, right, you must check whether there's permanent record keeping. I get it. Whether the person was in line with the audit program, and you must also evaluate the results, whether the results meet the results that you want. And also there must be performance information to tell us whether the auditors have performed in line with what you wanted. Then there's monitoring and control, right? So before the audit commences, you must monitor the assignment priority, review preliminary audit work plan, coordinate roadmap schedules. I get it. Also, during the audit, you must visit the field often as a supervisor. You must adhere to their work plan, periodic report review their reports, do team discussions, assist the auditors. If you are the audit supervisor or the team lead, you must assist the auditors with assistance on particular areas to ensure that they complete. Then the finalization stage, if there are any bones of contention, you try to resolve it because you are the audit head, and you attend the final interview, which is a closing conference. Sometimes you can review the report. If there are any queries, you query them and rectify them, then you give approval for final processing to meet the client, right? So these are so many issues. There are so many issues. These are practical sides, but it's not really necessary. They are not going to really ask you. The only areas they can ask you is the area that we were talking about. But when it comes to quality control, quality control is done from two perspectives, right? Quality control can be done at the firm level or at the individual assignment level. Okay. So at the firm level, each person has roles they have to play. Hardly do they bring the rules that you have to play. They are just going to ask you, I get it, the internal control at the audit firm level or GRA department level, and audit internal controls in the what do we call it? The individual assignment level, right? So when you look at quality control, there are some elements. Audit planning is one element of quality control. Auditors should meticulously plan their audits to ensure that they are carried out effectively, properly, and in compliance with relevant acts, laws, regulations, and existing directives. Then there's direction and assistance, right? Application of technical standards, there's supervision, monitoring, and review of audit work. So they can ask you this, right? Distinguish between the following: supervision, monitoring, and review. When we talk about supervision, that is monitoring the progress of the work to determine that the assistants appear to have the necessary skills and competence to carry out the assigned tasks, ensuring that they appear to understand the directions, and ensuring that the work is in accordance with the program and other planning documents. Then we have review, okay? And the work of each assistant should be reviewed by the personnel of equal or higher competence. Okay, this is to ensure that the work has been performed in line with applicable audit standards and relevant provisions in the tax law and regulations, and the work performed is adequately documented in support of the conclusions reached. No significant audit matters are unresolved, right? So the audit objective has been achieved, and the conclusions support the opinions expressed. So I told you quality control can be at the firm level or each department. So at the audit firm or department level, what are the controls or the quality control procedures that should be done at the firm level, in the firm before they go out? Professional requirement, making sure that the proper staff have been employed, skills and competence, whether they have attained and maintained the technical standard that they need, acceptance and retention of clients. You have to know your client procedures, assignment and what? Allocation of audit work, delegation, consultation, and monitoring. All these things we need to check. Then at the individual assignment level, you must ensure there's proper delegation, there's proper competence of staff, whether staff have been properly directed, whether there's proper supervision, review, and monitoring of what? The audit work. Okay, so these areas they can also ask you. Sometimes they can give you a scenario where there's something wrong with the procedure, and then you are going to see whether they have done the right thing. Let me show you. This past question has come a couple of times in the past, but who knows? It's been a while since they brought it. But audit quality still comes, but they don't bring that scenario again. So let me look at audit quality. So quality, almost every time it's parts. So audit quality. Let's see the past questions that have come on audit quality. So this is February 2027. It says, explain the basic elements of quality control and the processes appropriate. So this one, I use the new requirement. That's the quality, the ISA 220 revised and the ISQC 1, right? The International Standard on Quality Control. And it says that at the firm level, the elements of what quality control include leadership responsibilities for quality, ethical requirements, acceptance and continuance of client relationships and specific audit engagement, human resources, that's what we call the assignment we saw. Also, engagement performance, including consultation, resolution of differences of opinion, and engagement quality review, the monitoring, right? So these are some of them. Now, February 2007, question 2B, they brought this question, right? I just adapted it. I changed the figures, all right, and the date. So look, this one, they will tell you to look for the shortcomings in the quality control system. So you can see from here. It says what? You are the manager of Bimbo and Company, a firm of chartered accountants and tax consultants. The firm is currently undertaking the audit of the 2024 accounts of BT Mining Services Limited, a firm engaged in the supply and servicing of mining equipment 2 months after the year end. Are you all following? So the audit team comprises Kweku Owusu as the supervisor, Mary Mensah as the audit senior, and Kofi Osei and John Kwame as trainees. The turnover of BT Mining is 50 billion for the year ended 2024 and 35 billion 2023, right? So you could see that the revenue has what increased to 50 billion. Is there something that happened? You get it. So always audit mind. And total assets was 8.4 billion, 5.6. Total assets also went up this year. You have visited the audit team. Are you getting it? You have visited the audit team, reviewed the working papers, and summarized the findings relating to the year ending 30th June 2024 as follows. Okay, so Mr. Owusu, who is what? The supervisor, is also assigned to another audit that took him to Sam Reboy. So it took him to what? Sam Reboy, and last visited the team 12 working days ago at the beginning of audit. Is it the right thing to do? He hasn't visited the team in the last 12 days. Is it the right thing to do? Meanwhile,
No.
Meanwhile, Mary Mensah, right, the senior has completed the audit of tangible assets, including PPE, amounting to 2.4 billion as at 30th June 2024. And then it was 2.4 billion in 2023. Okay, so usually when they give you figures, they want you to check for materiality. Okay, materiality has a threshold. Okay, so you need to know the various materiality thresholds to use to check whether that thing the person is checking is actually material to their account, right? And then that person who is checking, is it the right person to be doing that work? Do you get the idea? So they can give you this sort of question. I told you it's been a while. They may repeat this question and it will be out of the blue, the way people will feel, because nobody was expecting. But audit quality is part of tax audit. So why not learn it? Do you get the idea? So we'll come and look at how to approach this. And then it says what? Kofi Osei has sent out requests for confirmation of debtors' balances. Who was Kofi Osei? Kofi Osei and John Kwame are trainees. And then they sent confirmation of debtors balances at 30th June 2024 when trade debtors stood at 5.7. And this one, when you check their material to their account, why is a trainee doing that work? Do you follow what I'm saying? So BT Mining's office cashier, boy, keep interest amounting to 2 million Ghana to meet sundry expenses. The audit program shows that cash count is outstanding. Why is it outstanding when this person is keeping this huge interest? Do you get it? So Mrs. Mensah explained that when Kwame was sent to carry out the cash count, boy was busy paying casuals their end of work wages. So the cash count has therefore been postponed to another date. Why? Do you see there's something wrong? Sometimes you don't know, but it doesn't seem right, does it? Okay, also,
Yes.
boss say, me to and Crawford, your cash count here, into your function that for. Is it the right thing to do? And the guy just walked and came to. What do you think is wrong there?
Yeah, he's refusing, I mean, for the cash account to be done, because if you are paying cash, you know how much you are paying the people. So you could take that money out and then let's count what to be left rather than telling me that you are counting, therefore we cannot have the countdown. No.
You know, the man, that is not even the mistake. See, this is, however, not documented in the audit working papers.
I see.
So, what was his name? Who was the guy? Kwame didn't even document it. Meanwhile, Kwame has been explaining to us how to select samples for test checking. See, these guys, they are funny. Trainee teaching trainee how to select sample.
That's how the scenario is designed.
And all this, the same question, they just massage it. Okay, so then it says, well, Osei has been requested by Mrs. Mensah to audit stock comprising consumable stores amounting to 15 million and 8 previous year. The company omitted to invite Bimbo and Co. The stock taking because the directors claimed that the stocks were inconsequential compared to the total fixed asset. How? And Osei has therefore carried out tests of control. He has carried out tests of control over purchases and issues as part of the cut-off procedures to confirm quantities at the year end. Some of these procedures, they don't seem right. But anyway, if you are not very good with audit, don't worry. You just do what you can do. So it says, identify and comment on any shortcomings in the quality control procedures of Bimbo. So first of all, supervision and leadership issues. What was the shortcoming? The audit supervisor, who was Mr. Wusu, has been away for 12 days on another assignment. Do you guys remember? And has not checked in with the audit team. So Mary Mensah, who is the audit senior, also appears overburdened with tax, particularly the audit of fixed assets. And junior staff members are handling critical areas without sufficient oversight. So it's a problem, right? No.
Yes.
Did we see that in the case? What's the implication? Lack of effective supervision increases the risk of audit errors, overlooked material misstatement, and inconsistent execution of audit procedures. Under ISA 220 quality control for audit of financial statement, it requires continuous supervision and review, ensuring that the work is assigned and completed appropriately. Okay, so the misallocation of resources, example, prioritizing fixed assets over trade debtors, which constitutes 67.8% of total assets, result in inefficient audit process. Not so, because the fixed assets were very small compared to the debtors, which were a huge part of the total asset. So what Mary was doing, it shouldn't have been her area. Do you get it? Because look at the debtors amount. The debtors. Where's the debtors? 5.7 billion and 2.2 billion. And look at the PPE, 2.4 billion and 2.4 billion. So which one is more risky? Is it the PPE or the debtors? Which one is more material?
The debtors.
Trainee was rather doing the debtors, and the senior was doing the PPE, which was less risky. Is it the right thing to do?
No.
You get the idea? So the extended absence of the supervisor could lead to misstatement going undetected, affecting the opinion. True or false? That's the first one. 2, the cash count procedure. The shortcoming. The cash count of 2 million, that's co-police impress, was postponed without proper documentation in the working papers. We saw that, right? So delaying the
Yes.
cash without justification violates audit documentation, which requires that all significant audit procedures and changes be documented. Postponement increases the risk of misappropriation or fraud since cash balances can be manipulated. Trainees handling key areas, having not knowing cash should be counted immediately, signals weak supervision. The lack of audit evidence on the completeness of cash balances can lead to qualified or modified opinion. Debtors confirmation procedure. Kofi Osei was a trainee. He sent out debtor confirmations, but there's no follow-up or non-responses or indication of alternative procedures. Okay? External confirmations mandate auditors to follow up on unreturned confirmations and perform alternative procedures, right? Such as subsequent receipt testing. Given the trade debtors make up 67.8% of total assets and have doubled, a lack of follow-up creates a high risk of material misstatement because you should have followed up. We didn't hear anything. So over-reliance on confirmations without alternative procedures can lead to insufficient audit evidence. A poorly executed data confirmation procedure could result in audit inefficiencies and a lack of what? Appropriate conclusions or what? Receivables. Stock taking procedure. BT did not invite auditors for the stock count, and Kofi Osei relied only on test of control procedures instead of verifying the inventory. This one, I know that a lot of students wouldn't have got this one, but the rest you could have easily gotten it. The implication is that, I get it, the standard on audit evidence requires auditors to attend stock takes to ensure proper valuation and existence of the inventory. The failure to undertake the stock counts means that the auditor's direct verification of stock balances is absent, increasing the risk of misstatement. Even though stock represents less than 0.17% of total assets, the procedural failure weakens their credibility. Relying solely on control tests and cutoff procedures is not sufficient substitute for actual stock observation. Then delegation and review of work. Tasks have been delegated ineffectively, right? With critical areas like trade debtors handled by junior trainees. And Merriman said all the senior is overloaded with fixed asset audits while juniors are left unsupervised, with even a junior teaching another junior how to what? Select sample. Because the supervisor has not reviewed the junior team's work for a significant period. So this guy, Papa. So audit of BT mining services has revealed major weaknesses in BIMPO and CO's audit quality control system, including poor supervision and delegation, leading to an inefficient audit process, inadequate documentation, particularly for cash counts and other data confirmations, failure to follow the standard guidelines for external confirmation and stock taking, and misallocation of audit resources, leading to overlooking key areas. So what ways can we address this? Improve the supervision, we must strengthen the documentation, enhance data confirmation follow-ups, ensure proper stock observation, and balance workload distribution. Into question we're heading, but do you know it can sway a lot of people off? Do you know that?
Oh, yes.
But I hope it won't sway you off. All right. So you see, audit quality is also one area that CIT doesn't joke with. If you think I'm lying, let's go down. We'll see more. Okay, so in August 28, it came again. State and explain 3 reasons why audit firms should institute and maintain quality control. You see it. You are required to state and explain 4 of such controls in a memorandum to your partner. You see it. Why should we maintain quality control? Compliance with professional standards and enhances audit credibility and public confidence. It minimizes litigation and professional liability risks, right? And memorandum on quality control procedures, leadership responsibilities. You remember the tone at the top, engagement, performance, and supervision, client acceptance and continuous procedures, monitoring and continuous improvement. They are there plenty. Now see another one. They went to audit sparrows. Audit August 28, question 2C, right? And then you see this guy has not been able to visit the team since the audit team meeting, right? And Kweku James has been assigned himself the audit of tangible assets. He has sent out requests for confirmation balances as September 30th. Trade debtors stood at this. Cash count is outstanding due to inability of Jim K to carry out because the cashier was busy paying weekly wages. How different is this question from the other one? To Brown?
The same.
Has been assigned the audit of consumable stores. right? The company did not invite CCVC consult to the stock taking because the directors claimed the stock were inconsequential compared to the total tangible asset. Go and check ICA, it's the same question. You just repeat it every time. August 2011, you are required to state clearly the procedures you expect an audit firm to follow in order to ensure quality of its audits. Assign staff with the requisite competence. Do you remember? Proper briefing of staff, detailed audit planning, proper supervision, monitoring, review of business and audit risk, instructions for junior staff to bring any problems to the attention of the supervisor, audit programs and audit completion checklists, technical training and updating of all staff, documentation in detail of all audit work, supervision of all audit work, acknowledgement of all audit work, documentation of all audit work, review of all working papers, final review of financial statements to ensure they make sense, monitoring of the firm's quality control procedures. August 2011, question 3. The same thing, right? You see this procedure, they brought it again. Identify and comment on the implication of the actions of the audit team for the quality control policies and procedures of Osama and Co. No be so. And I hope now you can answer it, right? No performance indicators were prepared and filed. Are you getting it? The column was not applicable. How can you say audit planning is not applicable? How is that possible? Akosia is currently supervising 2 other jobs in addition to Tom Jones Foods. She has not visited the team since the introducing them to the commencement of the audit 2 weeks ago. Is it not similar to the one we saw? John K. audit of fixed assets. Peter has completed sending out requests for confirmation of data balances. Has been assigned to the audit of expatriate payroll. The wage bill of the 2 expatriates, you see, is this one, Nomasisa and Kakraba, is the same thing. The audit account was this material, right? The expatriate wages for both years constitute 75% of the entire wage bill, but they've given it to a trainee. How? Something that constitutes 75% of the entire wages of the company. You give it to a trainee. Is it right?
No.
So all you have to do is comment on the shortfalls. That's it. August 2013. What specific control procedures would you adopt to ensure that staff engaged in the audit perform to the required standards? Also, outline the points in which attention will be focused during the review of the audit file. So you see, so that is it. The next question is around the measurement of audit performance, and that is the next area we would have to talk about. So you see, tax audit has some secret areas, and truly, when you look in the book, measurement of tax audit performance, you can see. So remember that the audit that we are doing, okay, before we even go to the field, our reviewers or our head of audits or supervisors must be able to measure our performance, right? And when you are measuring audit performance, it's not only about the revenue you can raise from the taxpayer, right? It should be effective even beyond the revenue yield, right? So there are various indicators. So we have so many measures, right? So we have what we call output measures. So output measures are what? Essential for providing general benchmarks and standards to evaluate the effectiveness of all aspects of tax compliance activities. And these measures help assess various stages and elements of the audit process, including case selection and allocation, audit planning, impact of the selection, and quality assurance. So when it comes to output measures, so we have output measures and outcome measures, right? So we have something like output measures, which are critical for evaluating what? Performance of tax audit. So these measures are used to assess audit output, both in aggregate and for specific types or classes of audit activities. So the key types of output measures are yield or productivity measures, volume measures, and quality measures, okay? So it means that when we want to assess your performance for a tax audit, this is what we use. They are like KPIs, right? Key performance indicators that we use. These KPIs are used to assess your performance. Are we okay? So when it comes to yield and productivity measures, okay, the primary aim of compliance audit is to address instances of non-compliance. So yield and productivity are fundamental to assessing the effectiveness of audit techniques. And these measures are particularly useful in evaluating the monetary impact of audit. However, there are practical difficulties associated with using yield and productivity measures. Like there could be issues of measurement timing, additional assessment, detection limitations, right? So some of them include time measures in a tax audit, okay? So there are a lot of them. So direct case time measures, that is, your individual audit time. So measuring the direct time that you take for measuring. So if I say you should spend 14 days and you end up spending 12 days, have you met the target? No, you haven't met it. Then we can have combined direct and indirect time measures, like average time analysis. And this one includes both direct and indirect time spent on your audits. So it recognizes that some time spent by audit staff cannot be directly related to the individual cases. Then we have elapsed time measures. That is the total time that has passed. So we are supposed to do 13 days and we have done 4 days. 4 days have elapsed, right? So all these days are to measure time measures. We can use it to check, right? So why would we want to measure time in a tax audit, right? To estimate the audit capacity, to justify resources and check performance trends. Okay, this one we use 14 days. This one we're able to use 28 days. Why is that so? Do you get the idea? Then we have volume and coverage measures. Volume tells how, like, it's like the quantity of audits. So, okay, I wanted to do 300 audits during the year. Was I able to do it? And what aspects was I able to cover? Was I able to cover VAT? Was I able to cover maybe capital gains? Do you get the idea? Do you get it? So we already talked about quality measure and quality, maybe a quality audit is one that less objections were raised. You got good quality comments. We saw them, didn't we?
Prof, we did. I was even going to ask if, I mean, the question was requiring the same answers we saw earlier.
Of course, you can use
the quality and then the CD value.
Everything
everything
that I say is particularly an exam question. Let's see. Question 1, CIT Tax Audit and Investigations, August 2024. Question 3, A and B. For a tax audit to be appreciated, certain performance objectives and measures need to be put in place. These measures show whether the GRA compliance strategies and audit strategies are working towards the achievement of the intended objective. Required. Outline 2 categories of time measures in relation to a tax audit. Oh, you are. Explain 3 importance of time measures in the conduct of an audit. August 2024, question 3A and B. Easy. Have you noticed that tax audit has a structure? And I'm who say what structure. Have you seen that it has a structure? Okay, so time measures, we saw the direct case time measures. You remember the time taken for each individual, the combined direct and indirect case time measures, you remember? Then we came to look at the elapsed time measures. Didn't we mention this? Then the next question asks us the importance of time measures. It can help us estimate audit capacity. It can help us justify resources. It can help us identify performance trend. It can help us enhance taxpayer compliance because we are working within a limited time. You'll be tempted to comply. It can help us improve audit planning and scheduling. It can help us minimize audit backlogs, right? So that we don't put a lot of work behind, like a lot of outstanding work, okay? Because we are working within a specific time. It can enhance decision-making and policy formulation, ensure fair and transparent tax administration. It can reduce compliance costs and increase revenue collection efficiency. Now, the same August 2024, they asked for 3 key outcome measures that are used to assess the effectiveness of the audit engagement, right? You can look at the tax revenue collected. It's an outcome that we want to achieve. You can look at the behavioral change in the taxpayers' compliance. You can look at reduction in the taxpayers' evasion and these are outcomes that the audit wants to achieve and whether it can be achieved, right? These are some of them. Now, the following DIT, I think 2 DITs ago before this DIT, they asked the same question, but when you look at their answer, they use the output measures to replace the outcome measures. And that's how they have been answering this question. But outcome measures are these ones. What outcomes do you want to achieve, right? And I believe they should still give you the same answer despite the differences in answers. They use the output measures, but the question asks for outcome measures. I don't know. That's why CIT solution would be a chair. You can go and make mistake. So that's the measurement of tax audit performance. Hello. You see tax audit. areas that people usually ignore. But these are areas too that if you fool, it can mess you up. Because if you don't know, you don't know. How it is, if you don't know, there's nothing you can do about it. Three key outcome measures. How can you know this? Blank, because she knew how better correct because you don't know. Meboa. True or false?
Prof, it's true.
So any questions so far? Are we okay with audit quality and the measurement of audit work performance? Any question? You are not asking questions. You are not asking questions. I don't like. You are not asking questions. Ask questions. Okay. So we move to the planning stage. Now we have looked at what we have to do in our house. So now we are going to planning stage. Planning stage. What's the name given to the planning stage? Pre-audit research. But there's one question that they asked the last time, the resourcing of the audit function. Okay. So when you are allocating, they can ask you, what are some of the conditions that you need for resourcing audits? I mean, allocation of audit staff. Okay. Definitely, you must look at their competence, their level of experience. I get it. You must look at the prioritization of tasks, how to distribute the resources, who will do high-risk areas, the taxpayer segmentation, the complexity and the volume, the proportion of staff. Are you getting it? How to train the staff. Are you getting it? What technologies they will use. Are you getting it? How are you going to monitor them? Feedback mechanisms, all these things, you have to consider them before allocating audit staff. So this area too that you are seeing has come before, I think 2 nights ago, the resourcing the tax audit function. All right. So tax audit is too broad, but there are some areas I don't even talk about them. I don't need you to worry yourself about them, right? Okay. So we go to the planning stage. Go to the planning stage. So what we saw right now was the organization, management, and measuring of tax audit function. Any question on that area before we move to planning and risk assessment? Then we say bye-bye for the day. Obiara bisa question. Bisa o. Ask questions, ask questions, ask questions. So a chunk of the planning has to do with ratio analysis, preliminary analytical review. See, mostly they give you a lot of questions on ratios. I think that the one that they brought and confused students was they told them to compute ratios and use it to do analytical review. Okay, so let's look at some few things we have to understand. This question pops up almost every time. Did you get what I meant? Whether I like it or not, it will come. So why not learn it once and for all? Okay, so selection of taxpayer, all those things that we looked at, right? So the same steps that we saw. So when it comes to pre-audit research and audit planning, okay, it's a very big area.